Yo, welcome back to another episode of the Beaumont Weekly. I'm currently scouting a new development project. This is Hampton Court in London. And in this episode, you're gonna see the different processes of the development life cycle, bigger projects as well, like Buzzers Bar, which is a commercial to residential development. Also gonna show you how we're genning up my little brothers, Sammy and Sean, to become property developers as well, so they can aid in their business's growth when they leave college. Enjoy the episode, subscribe.
What should we say?
We've got 8 months till Sam Ward and Sean Ward, my two little twin brothers, who are 17 at the moment, till they finish college. And they've said as much that they want to come work for the business full time. Is that right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
So you don't want to go to uni?
No.
Why?
Not interested in it.
Waste of time.
Don't know what I do.
Is there any other profession you want to go into?
Not currently. Not really.
So you want to definitely come into the business, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go, it's video proof there, yeah? There's no peer pressuring here, all right? They want to do it. So to do it, I've said to them, they can't just come in and be a dead weight and an overhead. So they have to learn and they have to become developers themselves. So what we're doing is an 8-month process where they've also got their college and exams and A-levels to think of. But I've said this is more important, that if they want to come work for the business straight away, then they've got to come with some sort of useful skill sets. So we're doing sessions now. We've already done a good session with Sammy the other day, doing a session now with Sean, catching him up, and then we're going to try and do weekly sessions where we spend a good few hours or an evening just going over the fundamentals of being a developer, learning about raising finance, speaking to investors, sales, marketing, the business fundamentals, finances, acquiring sites, planning, construction, all those things. They've already got great knowledge because they've been doing the last year and a half of all the floor plans for the business and the regs plans as well. So they have a good understanding. They're cost sympathetic on designs. They know a lot of that stuff, which is a great advantage. And that was the idea for throwing them into that place, because they could cost effectively make us designs, but also learn key attributes to being a developer, which is only going to help them when they're acquiring properties and stacking deals later. So it's all a part of a journey, but they've got 8 months until they need to be developers, bringing in sites, raising money, managing planning, and all that fun stuff.
Buzzers Bar. It's a big one, isn't it? This one is now signed off with a bank. We should get funds January 6th. Doesn't mean we'll be on site on the 6th, because we want to get finalised pre-construction, all the last bits on the plans, bit of a cost engineering exercise just before we press go. But yeah, ultimately, this site is ready to rock and roll. Had a call with the lender a couple of days ago just to do a sort of, KYC, get to know before we actually sign off on the loans and stuff. And they've agreed with everything now. They're happy with the monitoring surveyor's report. They came back with slight cost increases on our service upgrades and our first fixed drywall, which was weird. So we're talking like literally a difference of 10 grand, so like minor really. They're trying to question our site manager costs, but ended up agreeing to those. So we have the full facility that we need, and funds should land January 6th. Monitoring surveyor signed off, legal's pretty much happy in there, just the last few inquiries to go, but that should be wrapped up pre-Christmas. And then we are good to get the ball rolling on this site. So next week we've got our architect coming into the office, and we'll do some pre-con, and then the first week of Jan we'll do some more pre-con, and just make sure this bad boy is planned to the nth degree. Obviously we've got all of our floor plans, we've got our sequence of works, we know what we're doing, it's just narrowing it in and going, right, week on week, what is the full plan? And then building the cash flow for that as well. So, very good news, but now they want me to get a video walkthrough of the whole building, just for their records, just so they've got that. You see the fire damage that was here. Really, there's no fire damage. It's just smoke damage that's gone throughout. But like, where's the damage here? Really, it was concrete floor, so it's not really touched it. But the carpet that was sort of here chars obviously a lot, and so does some of the furniture. So it just caused loads of smoke damage. But don't really matter. We're all good. But anyway, something for your that you might find interesting. Yeah. So when we agreed this loan, so when we're going for development finance, you tender out to the market and you find out, which offers work best for you, stuff like that. And we have a few barometers that we look at when we're making a decision on borrowing finance. Number one, What's their PG amount? How much do they want? Do they want 100% PGs, or can we limit it to 25%? That's one thing we look at. The other thing is obviously the price of the money. If we've got any experience with that lender before, we can get a good referral for that lender. Yeah, that lender's good to work with. Yeah, they're sensible. What values they'll use, and then also what their maximum loan to value amounts are. So those are there's a few different variables there that you look at, and there's a couple others as well. But the main one here that I'm talking about is the PGs. So we agreed with this lender that we chose of a basket of lenders who gave us good offers, some with lower interest rates as well. But these guys that we chose for this property, let's call them Squidward. Squidward said that we could limit our PGs to 25%. So our personal guarantees that we have to put on the line to guarantee the money for these banks, for Squidward, whilst paying them an extortionate rate of interest, and they get a first charge and usually sometimes request a debenture as well. They've got all the security in the world. They're getting really good rate of interest for it and their arrangement fees and everything else. Monitoring surveyors, valuation, arrears on all the on all the construction drawdowns and things like that. They're getting all of that, and they're getting 25% coverage on PGs. They're basically completely secure, right? And paying them a high rate of interest for that amount. And they agreed to that at the start. All agreed in writing. It's there with their underwriter, with a head underwriter for Squidward. Then we go through the legal process. We pay £5,000 on the valuation fee. We pay £4,000 on monitoring surveyor. We pay this and that. We go through months and months of conveyancing and all that stuff. And we get to the point on the Zoom call this week where we're literally going to sign everything off. Monitoring surveyor's happy. Yeah, valuation's obviously all good. Everything's fine. Legals are to a point. Right, just last few things to box off. Just wanted to run by you that we need you to now sign the corporate guarantee as well. And we were like, corporate guarantee? Which is basically where we then put up our whole holding company of all of our SPVs and all of our assets to them, as well as all of our personal guarantees, now at 100%. And they went, yeah, so it's 100% guarantees and corporate guarantees, yeah. That's what's standard. Yeah, I'll bring up the small print for you, and that's the underwriter was trying to say this to us, bring up the small print, and I kind of blew my lid a little bit, and I went, look, listen here, mate, listen here, I've got it in writing from the start, 25% limited guarantees. We are not about with corporate guarantees as well. We're paying you a high rate of interest. You can't have all the security in the world and get a high rate of interest. Otherwise, you might as well be charging the same competitive rate as a mortgage company or as like the Bank of England, because where's your risk? If you're not incurring risk, you shouldn't be getting that interest rate. Doesn't make sense. That's not why we do this. You lend money to us at a riskier position because you get the higher rate of interest. And the blaseness of them trying to, I think they were trying to chance it. It feels like, or it's serious like incompetence on their end, because on the call we then dug through emails, and our broker dug through emails and went, yeah, here it is, agreed with your underwriter from day one, limited personal guarantees to 25%, no mention of corporate guarantees, regardless of what your small print says. In some events, corporate guarantees may be requested, blah, 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 if there's a top co, blah, blah, blah. And we were like, no, those were the heads of terms. Those were the reasons that we went forward with the loan with you guys. So we pushed back massively. And then the next day, yeah, all good, all dandy, yeah. So, well actually, he tried to go, okay, we might be able to omit the corporate guarantees in this instance, but obviously it will still be 100% personal guarantees. And then she went, no, mate, no, that's not what's happening here. We've not just spent £8,000 of professional fees, months and months and months of our time to get to this position for you to change what was a limited 25% guarantee to 100% just because you're scaring us with the idea of corporate guarantees. Not how this works. 25% minimum guarantees. Are you a company of your word or a bank of your word, or are you just trying to screw people around? He didn't like it, but ultimately that's the be all end all. That's business. Like, you can't be changing the goalposts like that, especially when it comes to guarantees, and especially when we're paying you an extortionate rate of interest for this money, because you also have to harbour an element of risk, even though you don't really have any, because you've got our limited guarantees, you've got the first charge, you've got the debenture, and it's in arrears. It's just these banks these days. So it's just hopefully a little bit of advice for you guys out there to be careful of corporate guarantees, personal guarantees, and bear in mind that you can limit these things as well. Obviously, we can limit ours, and they're accepting it because we have experience doing these kind of projects before, and obviously do a lot of developments and have stuff in-house, and we've got professionals within our teams who work in these trades. So there's things that help you get agreements on limited personal guarantees, but wherever you can, try and do it. But anyway, that is the story here. But yeah, monitoring surveyor happy, valuation all good. I praised this scheme 2.5 years ago, and I put it at 1.3 value, and we've gotten a 1.33 value. So it's nice to know that those Excel sheet exercises and comparable data and running all that analysis for the months you have to do to get these kind of schemes secured, paid off, worked out, and it should be, hopefully, as expected, maybe even a little bit better by the time we actually finish it. But yeah, now I'm going to whiz about. There is a little cupboard here somewhere. I think it's in here, under, won't go in there, but yeah, in there under the stairs, and up here, come upstairs quickly. And there, that is AIB stuff. That's the naughty asbestos gear. And it's in the like dust particulates on the floor because we had an asbestos survey done now. And yeah, I think there was a bit more here as well. Basically it's wrapping around some of the structural elements of the building. There's not a lot of it. It won't be hard to get out, but you have to do like a bit of an airtight thing and get them to come back with their proper gas masks and stuff. So they're going to get that out, and that's another part of the cost increase, be a few grand more than planned because it's isolated in small areas just around mostly the steels. But yeah, anyway, that's a bit annoying, asbestos stuff to deal with, but we can get those guys to come in and sort that whilst we're still getting all the legals and other bits over the lines. That's kind of okay, whilst we're doing pre-construction in the new year. But anyway, this scheme, as of 2025, should be up and running, moving forwards into the new year. So exciting. And then we've got the 17 apartments just across the road that's going under the same thing right now. Full planning permission, everything else is going through pre-con design, and then it'll go into the bank in probably end of Jan, start of Feb, go into the bank, and then hopefully get that one up and running by Q2 next year. And then we've got more bigger commercial development sites as well. So we deliberately kind of stabilized the business earlier this year, working on the HMOs, getting that fluid, getting that funnel working, building out the staff and the back office and the teams, and not taking on any outsized risks. And now we're layering on top our commercial to residential sites, and we're going to keep building and building and building. And we're adding buy-to-lets as well at the sort of bottom end, just so we have more and more kind of liquidity between our operations, but also in cash flow. So we're diversifying our revenue streams, because when we're taking on these bigger projects, we need to make sure that we've got consistent revenue as well as the larger chunks that come in, and these kind of schemes that are in large drawdowns and arrears. So it's all about keeping the business diversified. None of it's easy. It's very, very hard. But if you are an investor out there and you want to get involved in property development and you want to utilize services like us, then hit us up, let us know. Anyway, that's the update for this site. Exciting next year. You'll see loads of updates throughout the vlog, and we're going to do a documentary piece on this one as well to try and teach people about the sequence of works that it takes to move these buildings from this into what will actually be accommodation for, I think it's like 35, 60 people or whoever that will end up living in here. We're at this one, the BVC one. And we are just polishing off some of the snags, and I'm about to meet the valuer. Interested to see what we get for this building, because it's a 6-bed, but 3 shared bathrooms and 3 ensuite bathrooms. But done to a high spec. It's got all the fittings and everything else. It's clearly, built for commercial use, loft conversion, all that stuff. So we want around 220 to 260. We've gone in at the upper end around 240, 260 for the value. But, hopefully if we can get anything 220 and above, then it'll be a great return. We should be high 30% returns on our money, which is nice. But I'm sort of dreading the valuer, because these are valuers that we don't like that much. I'm not going to name and shame, but they've given us some bad values before. Unfortunately, we were stuck with them on this because we wanted to go who give us the best sort of rates. So we're not too bothered about capital left in. We're more just want to have something that's got stable rates and that, but it also means we might get shot a bit on the valuation. So we'll see. But actually, before we go inside, just need to get 2 chairs out of the car. And just before I came here as well, in the construction office, we've been doing some recalibration on our back-end management software for the construction business. So we're using Builder Trend, and we're basically setting all new templates for jobs. So these are duration templates, like a schedule of works program, and we're using that. So just to explain what that is, so you've got each stage of work split into a program in a sequential format. So it's almost like a Gantt chart where you've got the strip out, enabling works, loft conversion, the subsets of the loft conversion, dealing with pad stones and steels to then sticking in new cladding on the dormers or whatever it is, itemizing all of those out through a job, first fix, second fix, snagging at the end, decorations, certifications, all that sort of stuff, deep cleaning. So the whole thing captured in the construction life cycle on that schedule. And we're just setting new templates now based on stuff we've learned over doing a load of these jobs, so that we have a rigid template for each type of HMO conversion we deal with. And the same thing can be applied to the buy-to-lets that we're now doing as well. So if you're an investor out there and you want to add buy-to-lets to your portfolio, then let us know. And as well as the bigger commercial schemes, which will benefit massively as well from having those schedules controlled. What it does is gives us a lot more clarity as a business to manage the job through the construction works, because the name of the game in construction really is stay on budget, on time, and if anything, try and get betterment on budget and time. And this gives us that full clarity, and having rigid templates makes it much easier to set up the jobs. So that's what we've been working on at the moment. In 2 weeks' time, we'll then have all the jobs that we're on currently and new jobs that are coming through signed up onto the new system and make life a hell of a lot easier.
Ryan?
Hello, yes sir. Hello.
I got you slightly early.
No
so
worries.
I've been
No
working
worries.
around, you know, the lads have been fine.
Yeah, no problem at all, mate, no problem at all.
So we've got 6 bedrooms.
Yeah,
right?
6-bed HMO, yeah.
6-bed HMO.
With 3 share, 3 en suites.
Ground floor, got 1 ensuite there.
Yeah.
Then a share.
Then a share with it, and they've got a toilet here as well, just so they've got close access to a toilet.
Yeah, quick look at that. And then first floor, we've got front ones and ensuite.
Yeah.
And then we've got a share one.
Then 2 shared, yeah.
And then another shared one, bedroom 3. And then the very top floor is an
Ensuite.
Yeah, I've got
Yeah.
that one. So it's just the toilet down here I need to pick up. Yeah. How long have you owned it for, Ryan? Roughly?
Bought this start of the year, I'd say, so like March, I think
March time.
March, yeah.
Just a little bit of history. What did you pay for it then?
So we bought it for 92,000 plus all the fees and everything else that comes with it.
So auction purchase.
Auction purchase. And it was just completely derelict, stripped out, full roof exposed. They had a pan fire in the top.
Right.
It was a social housing provider that owned it.
Right.
So they then had to put on a new engineering roof, super basic roof, but the rest of it's just shelled out,
Okay.
barren.
How much have you spent on the roof?
About 130 grand.
130 grand.
About 130, yeah.
130 grand. Fine. Have you got any rooms pre-let at the moment?
Not yet, but we've got a property just there at the end of the road that we've rented on a lower spec as well, so it doesn't have the TVs and the nice fittings. So we can use those rental values. But I think I sent them through to you, but I think we'll get 500 for the shared rooms a month, and then we should get near on 600 for the ensuite rooms every single month. That's what we achieve there.
Okay, and do those rents include bills as well?
Yes, yeah, inclusive of bills.
Include bills. Okay. Fine. And who do you hope to let the property to?
So we are our own managing agent, by one lettings.
Yeah, but who are you going to
Oh, professional tenants.
Professionals,
Yeah,
yeah.
all work professionals. So people work in either Treasury, the hospital, police, local contractors, things like that.
Okay. Right. All right. I'll just pick up this toilet area, Ryan. I'm not far off being finished.
Amazing, lovely stuff. What was your name, sorry?
It's Darren.
Darren. Nice to meet you, Darren.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you, mate. Ryan.
Nice to meet you. Right,
All right.
pick up this toilet.
No worries, mate. Justy. So, value has gone now, but have a look at this. Look at this. This is nice. Like, just compared to our old spec, it's just mad how different these are now. And this doesn't have an ensuite in this one, but what a nice room. Like, rent easy. But interesting. So, conversation with the valuer then, and this is the problem with these valuers at this specific company. I'm trying to refrain from shitting on their name, but they've given us so many bad valuations. And a lot of it comes down to their lack of understanding for HMOs. So I just had a conversation with them about how he's going to stack up the value here. I said, are you going to take a hybrid yield? Are you going to look at a commercial yield, take the rental income, compress it with 11 or 12% against the net operating income? And his response was, well, I'd consider this an emerging area for HMOs. There's not enough established sold data on HMOs here, so we're probably looking more at a capital value rate and looking at the sold comparison per square foot and apply that here. And I'm like, right, okay. So that takes into absolutely zero account for the infrastructure in the building, the rental income it will produce and things like that. And bear in mind, within this same area, from other valuers, we've had hybrid and commercial valuations. So it's purely this valuer's interpretation on how to value the property. And they just have no understanding of HMOs, but you get stuck with them when you go with the because they won't let us use another valuer, or we have to use another lender. So we're happy to waste the cost on the valuation if it comes back it's something we don't like, because we could get, I think it's a 4.69% mortgage on this, which is nicer than say like a 5.5 or 6% that we get if we went to a commercial lender. So that's the reason for it. If we waste 1,500 quid on a value, fuck it, we'll get it revalued. But it's worth the gamble to see, because we're not too time pressured on this. But yeah, annoying when a valuer says that, because I'm like, how do you not know how to value these properties? Like, how are we getting, 50% higher valuations from everyone else in all different areas around here, and you're coming in with like such ridiculous like calculations, like comparing it to the next door, which sold for 120 grand. They spent maybe 5 grand on their refurb, and we spent like 100. It's just not, the two just aren't comparable, because to get the income out of it, you need the infrastructure in the building. Next door's never going to do that, so obviously they're never going to track that kind of value, because they're not going to get the income because they've not paid on the infrastructure. We obviously have, and we'll get the income out of it. Therefore, an investor will buy that on a yield, and there's an open market of ready buyers who will buy properties as a going concern, particularly HMOs, if there is good inherent yield out of the property, i.e. rental income. Are we in a sustainable area? Yes, we're right near major employment, right near train station, right near town centre, gym at the bottom of the road, industrial parks for employment as well. Like, it's just all should all be simple. And he pointed to Rick's guidance being the reason they value it this way. And I'm going, okay, well, you're one Rick's valuer. I've got other Rick's valuers who have valued our other properties, and they've given us much higher valuations based on a compressed yield, or at least a hybrid, where they'll take the yield valuation, look at the top values of the street, and maybe be a little bit conservative and land in the middle somewhere. Whereas he's saying they'll just look at cap values. And to me, that's just so backwards. But we'll see. We will see. Either way, it will produce good rental income. But that's us here. And like I said before, construction moving nicely, systems. We just need systems always to try and just get better and better at what we're doing, try and be more predictable. Right, that's me done with a tour of Hampton Court. Me and Honor love going to see all the old palaces. We've got this membership where we can just go in all of them for like a really trivial cost every year, and I advise everyone does it. I know there's some people out there that don't like this sort of stuff, but looking at the history of our architecture and the stories of leadership and governance and things like that shaped the modern world, obsessed, love it. Hampton Court, Tower of London, Kensington Palace, Kew Gardens, it's just so much. But anyway, that's it for our tour now, off home, and that's it for the vlog as well. So big love, thank you for watching. So make sure you subscribe, and yeah, I will see you in the next one.